Hi everyone, this is my fourth session on revision tips and methods, and this one focuses on practicing timed answers. Now, I will run this session, bear with me, let me just double check my calendar. Apologies, I haven't put the date on. I will run this session on the 2nd of May for you. Okay, so please come along to the main hall in the morning and I will run this session then. Tell a lie, I won't run it then because it's a bank holiday. It will be the 3rd of May that I will run this on. So come along there if you want to. So this one's on timed answers. Now, obviously we've got the practice papers available. Okay, first and foremost, do you know your exam boards and are you looking at the right papers for your course? Now, if there's anything you're unsure of, then double check with your subject teacher or the head of department, but they may have provided that for you already. Oh, my phone's ringing. Apologies. Obviously, the location of where you complete these papers need to be under timed conditions, and you need to be doing that as if you're in an exam. Yeah, so practice papers are absolutely brilliant in helping you in the exams and helping you with that timing element. Okay, but when you do it, you need to make sure that it's sort of realistic to actually being in an exam. Yeah, so you're not looking up the answers. Okay, you're not having a break in between when you get bored. Okay, so if you're doing a time paper, spend the time actually doing it, the dedicated time. And that's moving on. If you're doing an hour and a half paper, then you set yourself a timer for an hour and a half and you sit there until it's done. If you've got time at the end, you go back over it, you have a look at your questions, make sure you've answered everything, make sure you're happy, and then you can obviously get that marked and handed in. I've bolded there that feedback is vital. Now, obviously, it is in making sure that what you have answered is correct. Yeah, so as soon as you've done something, the earliest opportunity, get it into your teachers. They would be happy to mark it and give you feedback. Okay, they would beg you to do that. So please, please do that. The practice will be a massive help. Okay, it'll be a huge help to you, and your confidence when using and answering questions based on the language that they use is going to help you as well. You're not going to be put off by how they've worded something because you're so used to doing them. And the last point there is that the questions are often repeated and just worded differently. Now, don't try and work out what was asked 2 years ago and the year before that. Don't waste your time doing that. Just know that the more practice papers you do, the more familiar those questions will become and the more likely they are to come up. They may be worded slightly differently. Yeah, so just bear that in mind. Now, I did some research and I found out a really good way of actually assessing your answers, and it's called marks. It's called marks with a C in the middle. So when I thought this was really, really good, actually, and that's why I wanted to share it with you. So when you get an exam paper back, and particularly in the longer answer questions, I looked at a blogger that used this method. Now, the first one, if they've not scored very highly, sorry, let me explain that. So if they haven't got the marks that they thought they may have got, they've used this method to see as and where they may have lost marks. Now, the first one is for maths, and that means that actually, did they calculate the amount of time that they had for that question? Did they give it enough time to get it done? Excuse me. The second one is for application. So applying your knowledge and applying an example to those questions. Have you done that? Have you actually applied the information? If it's asked you to explain something, have you explained it? Or have you described it? Because you're not going to get the marks for that. Yeah. Have they said you must include 3 points? Have you done that? Okay. I know it sounds really simple, but sometimes having the knowledge is great, but having the application is something that is lacked sometimes, and that's what's going to get you the marks. R is for read the question. Sounds obvious, but again, for those little mistakes that can be made, it states 2 reasons and people have put 1, you know, or make sure you include examples in your evidence and people haven't done that. Evaluate, have you done that? Have you weighed up the good and the bad, or actually have you contrasted? Read the question really, really carefully. C for communication is have you actually put across what you meant to say in your answer as well as you could have done? Now, we all know how easy it is to go off on a bit of a tangent. Okay, I do it with my assemblies, as you well know. We all know how easy that is, but make sure you've communicated what you want to get across to them. K is for knowledge. And that's an obvious one. Have you got the knowledge to answer the question? Do you know the key terms? Have you referenced the poem or whatever it may be? That's you knowing your stuff. And S is for statements. So this I thought was particularly helpful for when we are looking at English and you're looking at quotes. Have you got enough statements, enough pieces of information in there that are going to support your answer and give you the top marks? So when you get your feedback for your longer answers, maybe use this, give it a go, see maybe where you've gone wrong. When you know where you've gone wrong, it will really, really help you to plan for the next one. I would suggest then rewrite the answer, get your teacher to mark it and get some feedback, because then your answers will just get stronger and stronger. Have a little look at this. This is online as well if you wanted to look it up. But as I say, practice papers are a great resource to use. This, when you're analysing your actual marks that you've got for a longer answer, again, a really good tool to use and see where you may have gone wrong, because that can all be fixed and changed by the time you get to your final draft. Okay, guys, well done. Thank you.